there.
They denied part of it, right, and then they approved the other part, is that right? I
Right.
understand?
Yes,
And it goes
Okay.
in front of the planning board, right?
yes, which hasn't happened yet.
I will ask my questions about it when the appropriate time comes, I guess.
I really thought it was a phone.
Oh, the PP.
All right, at 6:30, we'll call to order the April 15th, I should know it's tax day. April 15th meeting of the Rollinsford Select Board to order. First order of business is the approval of,
Denise.
we've got to call Denise, yeah, never mind. Hold on, before we do anything official. Thank you. Saving me from myself again. 428-226. Hey Denise, we've just opened the meeting and you are on speakerphone.
Okay.
Alrighty, then I've done the call to order, and the first order of business is the approval of minutes of April 8th. Did you have a chance to take a look at them?
Yep.
Did you have a chance to review them, Denise?
Yeah.
Okay, again, so by consensus, we will approve the minutes of April 8th. Next order of business is a community input time. Mark, are you here for,
Yeah.
you would be here just to watch, it's okay? I didn't know if you came down for something, come on up.
The reason I came down is I've been living there on Somersworth Road for about 35 years now.
Mhm.
I really never had any problems with the gun range out there.
For the gun range?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for the last 3 to 4 years, it's really, you know,
Increased
it's
that.
really getting to the point where it's you know,
Yeah.
you're out there like yesterday,
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon,
Yeah,
3 hours.
I heard it.
We had to listen to that.
Yeah.
And, you know, don't get me wrong, I mean, I go shooting, I've got a membership at the gun range in Berwick, costs me $100 a year. I mean, I could easily go put a sand pile and go in my backyard too, but I don't. And
Right.
the only thing I'm asking is, you know, we've got scout land out there, people walk out there with their
Right.
dogs, and I've been out there walking, and then, especially when you're walking on that trail right in front of the,
Mhm.
it startles you, you know?
Yeah, you can only imagine.
So
It's startling hearing it across town, and you're even closer.
Exactly, I can't believe the people like that have houses up at Scouts Landing there.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
must be
they
very
must
loud.
be, they're a lot closer than I am.
I know this came up, I don't want to cut you off.
No, no.
but This came up, well, you didn't have to come to, you remember, you must have been here, so
It was probably about a year ago.
I
maybe
remember,
2 years ago now.
I remember when they were firing,
was,
when we had the walk there.
No,
Or
but
the
Bob said
run,
that
the ceiling
they've
fall.
expanded it, so now they let the SWAT team use it.
I
And a
heard
couple
that.
of 3 or 4 other towns too,
Yeah.
I guess, use it. And we kinda let it go for a while, but we can also, we can revisit it with them again. And
Right.
I-
The only-
We probably should, I mean, you're not the first person to mention
Right,
something, so.
because that's the only thing, because, you know,
It was one thing,
like
it
I
was
said,
just
you
our town, I
know,
guess.
don't get me wrong, I don't mind, I mean, I've been, I mean, they've had that gun range here for a long time, but for the last 3 or 4 years, it's.
But when it was just Rollinsford,
Yeah,
you didn't notice it as much, I
Yeah.
don't think, right? I
yeah,
mean,
now they also do night
Nighttime,
shooting.
I know, I heard that the other night too, when,
So,
it was a little disconcerting
I
at first.
I just wanted to state.
Yeah. No, I thank you for that,
To let
so,
you know. And,
Yeah.
I know they need to do that, but, maybe they need to do it at different hours or,
Yeah, we
at a
talked to-
reduced rate or something.
we talked to Bob about that, and I guess, what did he say, they have to be certified in winter hours,
Yeah.
night and day, I guess. again at night, and then, and the rain, did you? Oh, you weren't there. I don't remember, there's a whole host of things, I guess, that
Yeah.
you have to do, and it was one thing when it was just Rollinsford.
Right.
But now that it's multiple towns and the SWAT team.
Right.
The, try not to laugh at it, it's kind of funny when you, now that we're not in the middle of it, but we showed, was it 4 or 5 SWAT vehicles in town one day, and then they were practicing, and then they were all around, people were scared, I mean,
Right.
you see all these things, so, yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
it's just, I just don't understand why they, I mean, they get, there's quite a few gun ranges, one in South Berwick, there's one in Barrington, that one in Berwick. And that's a beautiful gun range, and I'm sure they give discounts to policemen.
I think that came up, and I think Bob was trying to help out other local departments, because they help us with other things.
Right.
But again, we should revisit it,
Right,
I mean, if people are
yeah,
concerned about it,
right,
it's
exactly.
the right thing to do to revisit,
Yeah.
and we'll talk to them about it.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Any other community input for now? You have another chance at the end of the meeting. George, come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening. Denise, I'm sorry, I should have asked if you wanted to say something.
No, I'm okay.
I'm sorry,
No problem.
my head is swimming from allergies right now, so I apologize. I should have said that at the beginning of the meeting afterwards, so. That time of year, they're bad anyways, but this time of year is just awful.
Terrible.
Yeah, sorry, George, go ahead.
I got a PO for street sweeping. So
Oh, good,
we're gonna
okay.
get that signed
Yeah.
for $1,500. Showroom services in South Bella.
I'll move purchase order 1607 to Show'em Services for $1,500 for street sweeping.
All right, I'll second that. So what's in the, is that the entire line, George? The
Yeah.
1,500?
That's what
I
he-
assumed it would be, but, all right. And when do they think they're gonna be able to get it
Said they'd
done?
probably be in within a couple of weeks.
Okay, perfect.
We'll try to fit us in as soon as he gets it.
Perfect. And this has been reduced over the years because of the less use of salt, sand and,
He's doing what he can do for $1,500.
all right.
So we'll go as far as we can go with it.
Denise, you have any questions?
No, I'm all set.
What portion of the town does that usually?
We usually can get all the way up to the overpass and just everything downtown. If we can get
Main
across
Street?
sometimes over by your way and over that way, depends how much he can get done in a certain amount of hours he gets allocated, which he gets further, I'm sure he's getting further.
Do we sweep the state roads though too? We don't do like Main Street, do we?
I cleaned the sidewalk off last year, but I don't remember
Main Street and Front Street.
Front
Front Street we probably do, but.
Downtown.
Yeah, 'cause it's on that side, but are there any on the other side?
I go the sidewalk right into the street and they clean that whole area while they're down there, so it's not.
And the concern is though, yes, obviously, Main Street's a state road, but if the state isn't gonna be doing it, we have the storm drains there, we don't really want
Right.
the
And
sand going into
there is
the
a lot of
storm
sand
drain, so-
right now coming out of that parking lot down the street.
Yeah.
At Berlin?
Yeah.
Because they're doing the construction, they're grading, regrading, so there is a lot of sand in that area.
Let's finally get
I don't
it.
know what the state schedule is or if they're planning to sweep, so we
Okay.
can,
I wanna check just to make sure if they are.
I'll check with
If they are, then we won't wanna do it, but if they're not,
at least get
it
downtown.
might be a bigger issue if they don't. If they're just going up the street anyways, it might be a bigger problem if we don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, last year we just blew the sidewalks off and, but, you know, we could blow the sidewalks off, they can pick everything up at the same time, be done with it.
Right, right.
So it's, I mean, we can do it, I'll check with them if they're gonna do it, but I don't know when we'll see them.
All right. Any other questions? Or comments or concerns? Okay.
No.
Purchase order 1607 has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? All right. You want that? What's next?
Northeast Resource and Recovery Association is having a conference at the end of the month. Send 2 people is $215.
For, what's the,
It's on recycling. They have classes plus a demonstration of different things.
new techniques and best practices, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Changes in our,
It's for $215.
let's move it, we'll talk about it.
I'll move purchase order 1608 to Northeast Resource and Recovery Association for $215 for 2 people for their annual training.
I'll second. So, did you guys go last year too? I mean,
Ed went.
Ed went last year, okay.
Let that Paul Martell with him this year.
Okay, good, all right. So, I was gonna say, we have done this before, and it's paid dividends by having, it was Ed last year ago, because he brought back,
Yeah, he finds out quite a bit of information.
yeah,
when he's
so
there,
it's been helpful.
It's a 2-day conference, they're only going for 1 day.
Okay.
Is there a training budget for?
There is money in the budget for that conference, I believe.
Okay.
It's an executive, they don't have one in.
They don't have their own, so, but when we work on the budget, we talked about
We go back
this
and
one,
forth about it, yeah.
no, but we talked about training for the transfer station in general, and this was one of the ones that came up, that much I know, so. Denise, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all set.
All right, any other questions on this, or concerns? If not, purchase order 1608 has been moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right.
Denise, I'm gonna apologize in advance here, I've got a road plan that I'm gonna hand out, unless we can send one over to you.
Oh, that's okay. You can just, someone make sure I get one on my desk.
Yes.
Thank you.
Send,
Do you have it in, do you have it electronically?
No,
All right, okay.
I don't know if you can scan it over.
Send to an email though, right? Yeah, I'll email you a picture, Denise.
Because I can
When
scan
he's
it with
too
my
big.
phone,
Okay, well,
actually. Do you have I have a scanner thing on my phone, I'll create a PDF and.
Really?
What I do for a living, I take pictures on my lap when amendments come out in committee rooms, and I scan them and send them down to see if it's something we can support or not, so.
You can send it to my calendar now, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for you right now while we're on the phone, we can all look at it together, how's that? Yeah, I gotta remember where it is here, all right. TurboScan is a great app. To stand up to get the whole thing. All right. Next. All right, I'm going to email as a PDF.
Might be a little confusing on the bottom, Miles. The numbers on the bottom coincide
These-
with the numbers on the side of the,
No, just sending it to your town one right now. Somebody's getting it to her town one, so she has it for the minutes.
thank you.
And Caroline's getting it, so she'll have it, so when I lose it again, she can send it to me.
Thank you.
And Lisa, it should have just sent it, let's make sure it went. Hold on here. Hold on here. Why did the phone just cooperate with me? Now I can't look at it, well, you know what? I can't send it to you, I'm on the phone with you. I'm gonna hang up and it's gonna send it and I'll call you right back, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I can't send and, did this come through? I don't know. Should put box, it's not on send. Go, go, go. There we go. Alright, it's sent. Let's call her back. Sorry about that, everybody.
You have to call back.
Oh, yeah. Did we? Hey,
I gotcha.
you got me, alright.
All right, I got it. I'm just trying to open it.
Okay.
You can go ahead and start it.
All right.
It might take a while. I'm here. I got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Go ahead,
All
George.
right, I'm all set.
Pike is the lowest prices we got, and these prices are what he's quoted us for these projects.
Okay.
That does include the gravel for the shoulders afterwards, that 120, that's by us putting it down, but he put the price in there for the price of the gravel. So the price is there, we don't have to take it out of somewhere else.
Okay, so,
Finish demolish Heritage Drive in Moses Car is $120,625.
Okay,
To reclaim Sligo Road from Bear Road all the way to Pinch Hill,
yeah.
because the road is beyond repair,
Mm-hmm,
is, and then putting down 2.5 inches of base coat
mm-hmm.
is $217,625. Also, the shoulder gravel's in that price.
Okay,
We gotta replace 5 cross culverts on, that we will do.
yeah.
25 is high,
That's for the materials?
that's for the piping and stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing the work, so
Okay.
that's, I'm just conservative.
Okay.
There's 5 cross culverts we gotta replace because they're either too high or whatever, and they need to be replaced in metal.
Happy that we're doing it ourselves.
We'd like to remove the Jersey barriers down there and put guardrails so the snow can be pushed under them instead of against them
On the,
on the big culvert.
Yep. Okay,
Got a price for 15,000, he said that's probably high.
to shore up the
To
bank.
shore up the bankings down there, put riprap on the bankings,
Yeah.
cleaning it all up, leveling it up, and shoring it up.
Okay,
We need to rent an excavator, $4,000 to $5,000 for a month.
okay.
That would be,
That's for the entire month?
that's the whole month. It's probably, it'll be a little less than that, because we different places we can rent one.
Okay,
That's for you guys to use, though, not for
For
now,
us to use.
right?
yeah.
For us.
For our crew to use, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that's a whole month rental.
And you think you can get all of it done in that month's time?
My main concern is doing the cross culvert. We can do ditch work with the rubber track machine, we can work along the side of the road after it's paved even. I want to double check that with, I know no one quite's gonna be able to start. He wants to get done as soon as possible because they're looking for work, and we have an early budget, so
Okay,
I'll ask him about that, and we'll get the cross culverts in. That's the main concern. The rest of the work, we can still work on through. You know, we gotta do the shoulders anyway, so we can do the ditch work at the same time.
okay. And the last part is repair the culvert down by the dam on Sligo Road?
That's correct. We figured that'd be about 5,000. We're gonna dig it down to the top of it,
Okay,
and hopefully pull the pipe that's inside it out.
yep,
If the top needs to be, some repair work, we poured a pad for less than $500 at the transfer station for that bail, so we'll do the work ourselves and put it.
okay,
And then we'll probably lay 2 pieces of culvert across the top of that, just above that, for an overflow protection, but not as high as the other one was.
all right,
Looking to take, with the culvert money, to do the culvert work, the numbers coincide with what's running down the side of the sheet.
yep. So in the approved budget, we have,
350.
yeah. That doesn't leave with a whole heck of a lot if something else comes up.
No, we still have 5,000 for paved work. And, like I said, I put 6,200, that's a quoted price for a company to come in and install. We can install wooden guardrails ourselves.
Okay,
I'll get a lot less than that.
okay.
Can this be, we don't have to do the Jersey barrier work. I
No,
mean,
no,
it's
that's not-
independent of the paving and
That's right,
everything
that
else.
can be done afterwards.
Can be done after, okay.
I put that in there, well, explaining.
Sure,
We
yeah.
had the money in there, and I want to be in there with the, and staying within the budget, but
Okay,
we definitely need to have guardrails versus Jersey barriers down there, so we can move the snow away from them in the wintertime.
okay, and then the culvert fund, what do we have?
30.
30 in culvert fund? Okay. So we'll still have money left over then?
And actually, at 30 plus the 10 we put in this year,
So we have 40?
yeah.
Okay. All right,
But don't we still have that culvert problem on, Pine Street?
It's, I think she means by the
Oh, by the
Legion Lucas
Legion?
Street, yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
That'll
Isn't it
be-
Isn't it Pine Street?
That's probably something we're gonna do ourselves too, and that's a couple pieces of culverts, is about $300,
Okay.
$400, so we get in and replace that.
all right.
Okay.
That's the only one. The other ones look like it was frost more than culverts. We haven't got to look underneath it, but the road is right back to normal now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for George? When did,
So what is the total that we have available?
we have 350 in the budget for road maintenance, and we have 40 in the culvert fund.
Okay, so
That's
If I
right.
understand this correctly?
Yep.
Because we talked about it last week, it wasn't gonna be enough, right? Weren't they talking about delaying Heritage and Moses Carr?
I
So
think
now we can do it all?
he's scaled back slightly. Well, George, I'll let you answer.
No, he had the prices up there of them doing the shoulder work and stuff originally. We're doing the shoulder work, so that reduces the price considerably.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's
All
about
right, so
$12,000
we can-
savings on each project
I'm
there.
sorry. Okay.
George is estimating it's about $12,000 savings on each project, each road, by us doing the shoulder work ourselves.
Okay, so that means
Great.
Heritage and Moses Carr will be completely done,
And
right?
it'll be a finished product after this year, that's correct.
Awesome.
That would be good to finish what we started.
So
Exactly, yep.
Sligo will just be a base coat, and then we'll
Sligo will
have
be
to,
a base coat, next year we hopefully get in there and overcoat the Woods Run and Sligo at one time, the way they have all the equipment there.
Mhm.
And if there's, depending on funding left, maybe we can go further down Sligo or decide where else we wanna go with it.
Right. Well, we're gonna start working on the
Get some pricing.
the road maintenance
maintenance
plan anyways this summer, so we can do a reassessment for budget time.
Right, so it's gonna go from there to Pinch Hill Road
Correct.
to reclaim it and put a base coat. That's quite a ways, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And then is it planned, is it, or has it been that we're gonna do that whole road eventually?
Gotta start looking at it because it's falling apart.
I think it certainly needs to
Yeah.
be done. Yeah.
But what we're doing is the worst or the most used
I
by
would say
residents?
it's the worst.
That's the
yeah.
worst section where we're doing now, yes.
Yeah, and most used by the residents coming up there, right?
I would think so.
Absolutely.
Mm.
It's on the end where the development is, yeah.
Right, okay, all right.
Although the other side gets a lot of traffic, people going up and down to the farm.
To the farm, right?
I mean, we gotta get that area ditched and hopefully we'll do some more ditching even after this project, so.
I mean, it's the longest road in town also, and it's in the worst shape, so
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is that, account for widening it, or is it this?
We're just trying to maintain the road the same width.
Okay.
And
That- I mean, that's
if
fine.
we can't widen it too much, especially with the ditch coming down off the hill,
Right.
there's no room to put much ditches there, so we gotta try to do as much as we can to get that.
Yep,
All right.
okay.
So what are people thinking? Are we okay with this plan?
I don't remember seeing the road plan from before, but was Sligo on the list? Or is
We,
it the-
we talked about, doing a portion of Sligo at, the public hearing or the deliberative session, I don't remember which one, but maybe both. But it wasn't this far, I don't think, George, was it?
It wasn't, but the road,
But the-
it's actually worse on the section that we weren't doing.
Mhm.
So, but we did say we wanted to try to get a portion of it done, I think, is what I recall you said, George, right? So, looks like you're gonna be able to accomplish more than you thought, so that's a good thing.
And you're confident that you have enough manpower to do all this?
The ditch work and stuff is, we gotta be here anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I'm saying, if we get the cross culverts in before they get the pavement done, we'll be golden. The
Right.
rest of the work, we can mosey along through the summer. You know, we won't have to depend on all of it, all at one time.
Yeah. Yep.
But we definitely wanna get.
It
the
would be
culverts
definitely a
done.
busy month if we had to get it in and get it all done before the month's over. I mean, I could bring some part-time help into, you know, to drive the dump truck from the transfer station guys and stuff like that.
What does this do to our cash flow? I can assume we have plenty of.
Cash flow is always a concern.
Mhm.
The culvert money can be transferred
Right,
as soon as we spend it. It's the
Right.
other amount of money.
You have the latest treasures? I can't believe.
Well,
I
in the
found it.
past, Pike has been very flexible with getting paid once we start receiving revenue. So I
Okay.
think we can work that out with him.
We have a contract for tonight, or?
Nope,
Okay.
that was the prices, I'm gonna call them tomorrow, you know, so we did.
Are folks at least okay with this in concept? So George can start working on a contract to bring to us for next week?
Hopefully, we can get
Yeah,
it.
hopefully
I'm
next
sure
week.
they will.
Or the week after?
Yeah,
whatever.
I think this is an amazing amount of work
It is.
to fit in with this. mean, it's a lot of money, but.
Nicely done, George. It is, but it's what was budgeted, so nicely done, George. Denise, you have any other questions or comments?
No, I'm impressed that we can get it all done and not have to, not complete a project, so I'm happy with it. As long as, I think the cash flow is a question, so we need to confirm that that can happen.
Right.
Once money comes in, was it June, or,
Yes.
I mean, the
Yeah,
shoulders,
so-
we can hold off on using
As long
that
as
stuff,
they-
there'll be
they,
some
you know,
after there, so.
will work with us? This looks good.
Yeah. So I would say get a contract with Pike together and we'll look at approving it. We'll appreciate it. Anything else for us, George?
Yep.
Okay.
We talked about dog signs.
Yes.
You wanna set a limit on how many you wanna get, and we'll put them up wherever we need to put them up.
What do we have on our sign budget?
We can do 6 now and, you know, whatever we talked about, right?
So I think our homework assignment was to go around looking where we thought they were needed, right?
Yeah, and I guess looking around is not gonna help us, it's where the complaints are.
Right. Right. I would say, I think you would, how much were they again? I don't remember. You gave, you know, you gave it to that or something.
Yeah,
They weren't all that much, were they?
About $30 or $40 a piece, I think.
Was
What
was that with the
Plus poles and
the
brackets.
poles or no?
Right, I get some poles that, I get some sign poles.
But you could also have some backup signs too in case they get
Right,
stolen or
back
knocked down or whatever, right? So,
Right. Well, we removed a lot of them that were down around the not so wide road down there in Sligo, so we took a lot of the construction signs down that wasn't necessary, and we
Right,
gained a lot of
right, right.
posts.
Oh, okay. All right. I would, I'd say, do you have a PO for it or?
I didn't, I'll have one made up for next week, but
All right, why don't- I would say do one for 6 and then we can consider it.
Cause there was a discount at,
yeah, you buy one, it goes down every time you buy something.
yeah,
Actually, I think I might have the prices. You gotta get the prices. Oh, here it is. They're $31 a piece for one, then it goes down to $25.40 a piece for 5 or more.
Okay.
Then 12 is 19, and then of course 25 is 16, but I don't think we need 25.
what was the, how many for 19 each?
12,
12.
12 signs is $19 a piece, there'll be
You
228.
probably don't need more than 5, right?
Yeah.
I would say just order 5.
Mm.
We can do it next week, but there's nothing.
Okay.
Give the dog a pretty formal. And their own.
Old Mill Road.
Yes.
We gotta do some ditching by Andrea's house.
Okay,
They're gonna buy the culverts
what are we talking about?
across the driveways. They have to replace the culverts along the road so we can get the water to flow down the street in the culvert, in the ditch, instead of in the road. The road is getting damaged and they're getting a lot of water in their property.
First house on the right.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that, I'm thinking about the process.
As we're ditching.
Explain it to me again, what do you wanna do?
We have to re-ditch the road so the water runs down the road and not,
Right.
I mean, down the edge of the road and not down the road.
Right. So they
Because
have
the
a,
water is going in their property.
they have a driveway easement across our, we've granted them an easement across our ditch, right?
Well, they have 3 driveways across the ditch,
Okay,
and they wanna put culverts in them so the water goes beyond their driveways instead of going into their property, which is causing their property to become wetland.
okay,
And while we're there ditching, we could replace the culverts as we go by.
okay.
They are gonna purchase the culverts, my thought is how do you want them to do that? Do you want them to purchase them to us? Or do we want them to go out and purchase the culverts? And
I wasn't involved with the last time this happened, because it affected a family member. So I recused myself from the entire process, so I honestly don't know how it happened, I just know that they wrote a check. Do you remember how this happened? Because it happened this way for one resident, it happened for the next 7 residents, I would assume.
So my recollection of that was that,
They paid for the labor, everything, didn't
yes, they paid, that's how I think it happened. They paid for the materials, but I think they also paid for the time.
they? Right,
And so they were billed for that and they paid the town for that.
right.
which was a
Because the
savings.
state law is not our responsibility to maintain driveway culverts, it's the residents. I'm all too familiar with this now. so.
Right, but what about the ditch line along the road that's
The
causing?
ditch line is our responsibility, I would say, but maintaining the culvert in the ditch line is not our responsibility, it's the residents.
That's why they were gonna pay for the culvert,
Right.
as we're driving.
Are they putting it in themselves?
No, we're gonna put it in, because we're gonna go by there.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, so the last time this happened, the town charged the resident
Okay, then we'll
To-
have to
to
speak
put it
with
in
them, but I gotta still
and for
clean up the ditch
materials,
like down
so.
there.
If that's what the board still wants to do, I mean,
Well, I think if that's what's been done in the past.
well, lots of things have been done, honestly, Miles, so let me just be clear. There were some select boards just put in driveway culverts for people, some refused to do anything about it, and then there was a hybrid. This one board said that, okay, we'll put it in, but you have to pay for it. So,
How would we charge, like what rate would we charge?
I don't know how it was done.
I'd have to look in the records, but I think it was, like just straight compensation. How long did it take to do it?
So you would go and remove their old culvert,
Yeah, we have,
you tear it out.
because, I mean, the ditch line starts above their property.
Yep.
And when it gets to their property, it's going through the first culvert,
Mhm.
but the culvert's higher than it needs to be,
Right.
so a lot of it's going into the road,
Right.
which is causing the road to get damaged now. I mean, I don't know how long ago that road was, he said 5 or 6 years, I know that road must be longer than that.
I don't know.
So culverts are not the driveway culverts, the town,
The responsibility of the owner of the property, of the driveway, it's an easement across. We grant an easement across our property and allow them to put a culvert in. I will say the last road agent didn't put a culvert in, he just paved over it. There isn't even a gully or anything in that. But anyways, I wasn't involved with this, so I don't know.
I think if we can look into, if we have recent,
I'll try to, I'll try to look into that.
So we need to try to figure out the process first, George, because it's supposed to,
I mean, I still gotta
We
get
just
on
strive
that,
to be
I'm gonna
equitable,
start
so-
ditching back towards there to get the water out of their property as much as we can.
fair enough, I mean, we should.
You
We
know?
should maintain our
But-
ditch line.
Right, because, I mean, there's,
That's also something that
apparently
could be
they've asked
happening
in
on
the
other
past to
roads.
get it done and it was ignored, so I'm trying to, you know, if
Not
they get in
surprised.
charge from, if they get a wetland problem, just be able to sell their property, that becomes an issue too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just,
A lot of ditch lines need to be maintained for sure.
you know, there's plenty to be done, so I mean, there's, you know, we're starting and we gotta get these roads fixed,
So
so.
we'll look into what the process was last time. When I say
And I'll let them know what's going on. Well,
we can talk about it again. We
I
can
talked
be able to
with
figure it out
Adrian
before
Cole.
next Monday.
I hope so.
You too. So hopefully we'll have an answer for you next Monday
At least
too. And
you know,
the resident.
I'll get to that, you know, up to at least
If the board decides that they want to do the practice that if we're doing the ditch lining anyways, people that have to pay for the materials, we're not gonna repave over it though, we're just gonna,
we're gonna have to give them a price that fixes too, yeah, because we gotta cut their driveway a little bit.
well, that's, see, that's the,
I mean, that, it does, becomes an issue.
they would need to pay for that too, we wouldn't repave their
So
driveway.
where we, I mean, I'll try to ditch below their driveways for now, and I'll talk with them again, but.
Yeah, we need to figure out the process, so.
okay.
Denise, do you have anything to add?
No, not that.
Okay. Anything else for us, George?
The,
Yes, I've got a few
Oh, we have a list, so, but do you have anything else for us, sorry?
Yeah. Oh, I'm with the Pleasant on that.
Yeah.
That's, okay.
We can go over it now if you want, though. Do you have it on your list too?
I just put it on there just to make sure
Yeah.
we talked about, it has, I went down and inspected it, the work is done.
It did the work that Mr. Stevens asked to be done, or
The-
said needed to be
The
done?
shoulders are graded and everything
Okay.
else has been done.
You're signing off on it?
I will if you want that.
Well, it's up to you if you
No,
think it's
no,
been done.
It's done.
Yeah.
We're relying on your expertise, so we'll release the funds back to Chamber,
Chamber,
right?
yes.
Because we were holding a check, I think, wasn't it, a check?
Yes.
We'll give it back to them.
Truck one, you want us to put it up for sale?
Oh, what, have we,
Or put it up to bid, or I think you're gonna get more money trying to sell it. Ed's in his business at the moving company, sold many trucks.
Mhm.
He's pretty well versed on selling them,
Mhm.
and get it out on Craigslist with and you guys can set the starting price.
We've done bids in the past, but if we think we're gonna get more for it this way, I'd rather get more for it personally.
I suggest we try selling it.
Sure, yeah.
Denise, what do you
And
think?
go the best,
I think that we would make more on that than putting it out, because we always go for the highest bidder, and
when you go for the highest bidder, you might get $1,000.
it could really,
Yeah, we're not
we
accepting.
have it has to be more than this amount, you know?
Right.
But, I think it's worth a try. I mean, if it doesn't work, then we can go back to putting it out for
Sure.
bid.
So will you work with them on
Mhm.
setting it up?
Be glad to.
Yeah, I think, Miles, you're okay with that?
Yep.
And too.
We get pictures of the truck and stuff already, that we can just, you know, get it on Craigslist and try to sell it that way. And
Did the new truck come, or we feel like?
the truck is at the no, I mean, this could be pending.
Okay,
I mean, we're not gonna use it, I mean, unless we get another storm, we won't be needing that truck.
Yeah, well, April's not over yet,
You
so.
know, I understand that.
but
It's
snow
gonna
guys,
take a few weeks by the time we even get through the process, so.
Right. Not that I wanna jinx us now, so.
No.
The truck is at the manufacturer, so they're waiting for the body. They got a few other things to do
Oh,
to
right,
change the
right.
body on it, so.
Right,
But they said it'd take probably 90 days before they get the body, so it's gonna, you know,
Okay.
we're still a few months out.
so we're starting the process then. Okay.
Yeah, we figured get it out there so they can start looking at it if someone's interested in.
Okay, yeah, works for me.
We can set a price, you know, a starting price, and, I mean, Mick said we could get 20 to 25,000 for that truck, so. And everyone I've talked to said the truck is still worth the money, so
Yeah.
I think we ought to keep it up that way, but if you go out to bid, or hire somebody to put it out to bid for you, you're gonna be
Right,
paying an
exactly.
consignment fee.
Sure. Yeah, no, I definitely don't wanna go to the state auction.
Yeah, you know.
The bargain
You don't
basement.
make money there either.
Not at all, and you gotta get it all the way to Concord.
Mhm.
All right, so yeah, I say start around that, George, fine by me. And
Okay.
Bicentennial Park flagpoles?
We got 2 flagpoles down there that either broke in half, I don't know what shape they were in before, but, and they're leaning. I don't know if you want to be removed, or what's the story, I mean, they look terrible for one thing.
Okay.
did we,
We could probably fix them,
Yeah,
they're metal poles?
they're pipe.
yeah. And there are, so probably someone pulled them down, is that what we're thinking?
We could either cut them off they're mounted in a rock.
In a rock, well, it'd be nice if we could replace them, it's a
I mean,
public park, so. If we could make, we can mend them.
Yeah, let's see if you can,
I can find out what it would cost to fix them, you know, I mean,
Sure.
Mike can weld them up or whatever.
Yeah, we should look into that.
But that's why I wanted to bring it up, because they look terrible and they're leaning and
I
stuff.
also don't want anyone to get hurt either, so.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say look into seeing how much it will cost to fix it first, and then we can revisit it.
Okay.
We don't have any flags down there at the moment, I'm assuming.
No, there's no way they can put a flag down there, because they broke off about halfway up, so.
Ah, okay.
Whether vandalism or wind or what have you, but.
Combination of
Age.
Age. Yes. Anything else?
We may need a permit to do the shoring up the banking down there, so we need to get, I talked with Aaron, I didn't give him no, I said, we'd talk with you, find out what, you know, if we wanna have them, he said they'll help us with the permitting.
Okay, so we need to get a work, find out how much,
Task order.
task order will be for, Hoyle Tanner, thank you.
And he said he'd be able, but he said he wanted us to hold off until the end of this month because they're relaxing the rules.
Oh, so we'll wait till the end of the month then to find out.
Okay.
Because he doesn't think there's gonna be a big deal issue because we're not touching the waterway or anything like that, we're just shoring up the banking on each
Right.
side of it. So
Right.
but he said it may require a permit, they may not, he, you know, but he said,
Okay.
you know, he can look into it for us.
Okay, perfect, sounds good. Anything else?
No, I think.
That's a lot.
I know, when I figured, well, we're here, we might as well.
I'm glad you did. Anything else for George? Denise, you have anything?
No, well, that,
All right, well, thank you, George, appreciate it, good work. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, that's, you know, like,
Awesome, appreciate it. So did you have something for the select board, or?
I have a simple question. Is this on TV?
desk.
It gets put on, yeah. I'll give you the television.
Oh, I just had a question. I have a, large, relatively large lot with enough frontage for.
Why don't you come here, I can't hear you.
Okay,
Could you state your name for the?
yeah, my name is Peter Anderson, and I'm here representing New Hampshire, Anderson, New Hampshire Realty. And we have a piece of property in the back half of Garrison Hill, and we've been fixing up a fourplex.
Uh-huh.
And
You see that's right at the bend, right?
right at the bend of Highland Ave.
Yeah, Highland Ave is a classic road.
Um,
So, but yes, now that you say that, I think it is.
Yes.
It might be.
Six, no, that's six.
Yeah.
What is that?
That means that we don't issue new building permits on Class 6 roads. Because the road is not maintained by the town officially.
Yes, it is.
Not officially, it's a Class 6 road.
I think we need to verify that.
That's changed from the last time we looked at it? I mean, we can, that's fine.
Yeah, there's houses all up and down
I
it.
understand that there are houses on it, but if it's been, they were built long before this classification went into effect, I believe. That's the issue.
That's what I want to look into
Right.
for this purpose.
Right. But so you're looking to build more houses up there?
Yes. That's long story short.
Okay.
I have a modest plan here to add a duplex, and I have enough frontage and certainly enough land to have multiple units.
Okay.
And I was wondering, do I need a subdivision plan to add a duplex, or can I just add a duplex because I have enough frontage and enough land?
You need to go to the planning board and get a subdivision plan done, for sure. If you're adding another house on this property?
The red is the proposed.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Well,
You,
are you looking to subdivide the lot?
No,
Okay.
I just want to own it myself. I don't see why I would need another lot.
you wanna put another house on the same lot right next?
So
Yeah.
the existing structure has 4 units, is that right?
That's correct. And that should be grandfathered.
So an addition of 2 would max out that district, and theoretically, it's allowed if he has
Okay,
parking and land, meets all the zoning requirements.
okay.
I'm not sure about separate structures. I
Right.
don't know that it's not allowed, though. But he would go to planning, though, because
you
it's an
definitely go to
expansion
Yeah,
of use.
definitely.
Yep. I had another larger, much larger concept,
Okay.
which I just wanted to bring up, just because I thought I was trying to do sort of a thought experiment, and what it would be like if you rezoned. And so this is a parcel that I own.
On Shady Lane?
Yeah, I love that because it used to be called Love Lane, and now it's called,
We're well acquainted
Now
with
it's
this road.
called
This one is
Street.
definitely a Class 6 road.
yes,
We're
that
not-
is definitely a
We're
Class 6
not
road.
issuing any building permits on that road.
Right. And what I was going to suggest is, the zoning in this area is very minimal currently.
Uh-huh,
And the other side of the hill is very heavily developed, and
Uh-huh.
it's a mile from downtown Dover.
uh-huh.
It's a logical place to rezone.
Yeah, it's been that way by design, because we don't want development there, so the town doesn't want development there.
Okay, well, this project would be 500 jobs and $200 million.
500 jobs with,
This is a retirement community, medical offices, aging in place, and a nursing home.
well, that makes more sense.
And this is Wentworth Douglas Hospital.
Uh-huh,
This is land in Dover. This is Dover land. The high tension line's here.
mhm.
And you have a tax problem in Rollinsford, and this would help solve it.
How would you access it from the Dover side, from the
There's
Wentworth
this
Douglas
is the
side?
Wentworth Douglas light right here.
Yep.
There'd be a
So
road that went through,
old-
all the way through to Rollins
What do
Road.
they call that? Old Rollinsford Road?
On that end, yeah.
Yep. And there's something in it for everybody, so. Just a concept,
Just an idea.
yep. Dover's Park gets fixed up. Anyway, a concept that I thought I should throw out at some point.
This is
And I've done.
part of the hill, right? Like this is a slope.
Yes.
Is this wet here?
There's a little tiny bit of wetland
Here.
right there, yep. And this is a cell tower on top of the hill, and the lookout tower that Dover has is about right here.
Okay.
You might also check zoning for the net acreage requirement, given that that looks very sloped. And
I've already looked into that.
okay,
Yeah, I think you need to go to the planning board to talk about this.
Yeah, okay.
And you need to go to the zoning and planning board and here, obviously, for this much larger plan.
Yep.
I can tell you though, it took about 2.5 years for someone who wanted to build a house just on Shady Lane. And it just about brought the town to a standstill, so I can't imagine your retirement development would go very far, but if a single house lot was rejected, so.
Well, that's perhaps why the taxes are so high. It's a beautiful area, and my plan preserves all the beautiful parts of the hill and everything, so.
Do you reside in our town, sir?
I do not, I reside in Durham.
In Durham?
Yep.
Do you think this would go over well in Durham?
They're building one right now, sir.
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah. Or would you like to keep a copy?
no,
I'm not sure we're gonna get for me. You need to come back here for the planning board meeting?
Oh, I can make one.
Oh, then we'll take it.
If you like.
This one bit.
Huh?
This one bit.
You want another one?
From my water ball. No, I'll let it dry.
Yep.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Yep, take care.
Chief, come on up.
Orders of business,
Alright.
a few bills.
We have Denise on the phone, so you can speak up a
Denise
little bit
is,
for her.
okay, hello Denise.
Hello.
Okay, we got 3 POs here I'm gonna run by you. First one is for some personal protective equipment.
Okay.
It's to Darley firefighting equipment. And basically, it's for firefighting gloves for 242.
Okay. We'll move purchase order 1518 to, is it Darley?
Darley, correct.
Darley Fire Equipment for $240 for 3 pairs of firefighting gloves.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Denise, any questions?
No.
All right, first order 1518, been moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. She should have it.
Second one, 1611 to Bergeron Protective Clothing. It's for turnout gear alterations. When Kevin left us, we had to rechange all the labeling and whatnot on the back of all of our coats. So that's been out, it's gotten done, it's coming out of the protective clothing line, which still has a large balance on board, so it's 212, we altered 4 sets of gear.
Okay. We'll move purchase order 1611 to Bergeron Protective Clothing for $212.03 for turnout gear alteration.
Alrighty. I'll second it. Any discussion? Denise?
No, that's it.
All right, purchase order 1611 has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right.
Last one I have is 1612. 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, we had all that dry weather and we had a couple of brush fires in town, and we visited a couple other communities. We had a failure of the water tank on the forestry.
Okay.
It's a plastic tank, holds 160 gallons, and it developed a crack, a leak. And it would leak down to less than half the tank.
Is this the
So-
original tank?
Original tank. Yeah, and it's a skid unit. It was something that Chief Spinney took care of, so it's gotta be 10 or 12 years old.
All right.
So we did our research and we took it back to the manufacturer which built our skid unit. And the original pricing of what they wanted to replace it was like $2,500. But we managed to do some finagling, work on some warranty items, and we had to go to Vermont to get it done. So we had to take a little ride. But from the $2,500, we got it down to $1,250. Has a brand new tank, all the seals that go from the tank unit to the pump have been replaced. So basically, we rebuilt that whole front end of the unit. That would, so that will come out of the vehicle repair line.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was 1,205, actually less than half of what we originally quoted, but
All right.
we
Good
did
job.
some due diligence.
Okay, I'll move purchase order 1612 to Kim Tech Corporation for $1,205 for a replacement tank for forestry one.
Second, any questions?
Is this, if we replace the forestry truck, I know it's on the CIP, can we reuse this?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, that was designed to fit a standard bed for a pickup truck, so
Perfect.
if we do upgrade, this unit comes out, goes right back in a new rig.
Good to know. Denise, any questions?
No, all set.
All right, purchase order 1612 has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right.
We have to get relicensed for our non-transport license through the state.
Mhm.
This is a credit card thing for something we bought.
Get on that.
This is all the paperwork, it's all signed, it's got the hospital's medical resource agreement that we have to get from them, all the paperwork is signed. So
Okay,
basically, we have to take a check for $100, that will come out of this account. And this whole stack of paperwork will go here. And
yeah,
that'll get us relicensed for our medical transport license,
okay,
all right?
I remember that, thank you, sir.
That was a lot of work to shed, the hospital signatures from people that came in.
Oh, I imagine, you can have your copies back.
Okay, you all good?
I'm
You don't
good.
want the rest of this?
Well, I kept,
Okay.
those are your copies, I got my stuff here.
Okay, and the next thing, what's that?
So what else you got for us?
Well, I just wanted to start a discussion, I know also in the CIP, we have, we've been, it moved its way up to the top for the air filling station. And we did some research on the air filling station, and I wanna say after this year's addition from the CIP will be $40,000 in that line, I think, from CIP.
In the CIP?
Yeah, in the CIP,
All right.
because we've been building this up for
Right, right, right.
4 or 5 years.
Right.
And so we had one of our suppliers come in and he gave us a quote for a unit,
Okay.
which I still consider reasonable, but we're negotiating for 55 for the unit,
Okay.
and we'll have 40. So,
Okay.
we're looking into it, and I just wanted to kind of bring this up, so this is starting to be a discussion that we wanna, the money's there, we wanna utilize it. I can take some money from within my
It is in
operating budget to get close to this. He gave us a figure of 55, but a lot of that is negotiable because he went high because the price of steel right now is like super crazy. And we were making some alterations to some of the quote that he gave us that we do not need.
Yeah,
So we're hoping to be able to kick this down to the 47 range.
okay, that sounds better.
Yeah, and I know I can find some additional funds within my operating budget.
Okay.
So we're very, very close to getting this done. The only other thing that I wanna do is I have to talk to Simo or one of our electric contracting personnel. Do an upgrade for the electrical to supply this unit. But I just wanted to kind of bring it up and start the discussion and let you know that we have it sitting there, we're trying to make all the pieces come together so we can get this taken care of.
Okay,
Something we've needed for a long time.
all right.
Excuse me, what is it?
It's an air filling station.
Okay.
It's for filling our SCBA, filling our air packs. Because right now, we still have to, South Berwick, we can go to them, we can go to Berwick, and we go to Somersworth. So when we have an issue where we use air, we have to make some phone calls and find out where we can go. Have one of our mutual aid partners help us out.
All right,
Sometimes that's difficult to get done, so,
and it's on the CIP for next year.
yeah. It says 40 in mine, right?
That says 50. That says that total cost is to be 50,
Right.
so.
And that's where we are right now. I was kinda surprised, because I think we put that in a few years ago, that this hasn't, when he gave me this quote, I'm like, wow, we're
Right.
still within the range of what we had projected, 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
And I know from what he gave me here, I know we can knock it down below even that number.
Do you have an idea, a ballpark, an order of magnitude about the electrical upgrade required, what that would cost?
Somewhere between $12,000 and $2,000, but that would come out of the building maintenance line. Because it's an upgrade to the system, we'd have to add a, it's either gonna be a single phase 220 or, depending on exactly what unit we wanted, but that's the ballpark figure that I've kind of thrown out there.
Or it may be better to put it in the warrant article so that the whole thing either passes or fails, because you don't
Right.
want half of it in operating budget and the other half in capital, and then you get half the money you need.
Right.
Or not half the money, but you get the project but not the installation, or vice versa.
Right.
We can discuss that when we get into
Right. That was some kind of
CIP.
conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to get the ball rolling.
I appreciate that.
This price, he said he can hold it for us,
Excellent.
so give us a little lead
What
time
did you say that was,
to do some of our work.
that you were, what was the number?
For the unit,
Yeah, that you were working
the original quote that I have in my hand right here is 55,790. But again, like I said, he went high, and CIP number that we'll have in there will get us to 50. The only reason I threw the operational money out of the budget, so it's SCBA money anyway. So, I mean, again, that's kind of comes on this side of the table, how we want to handle that part of it. But if it was something that, we could try to get done in the short term, then
Right.
I could try to find a way to make the numbers work, because that number's in there. So it just means I don't buy a few bottles or something like that. I
Good
understand
job getting the number
I know
down,
the
though.
difference between the two.
Mm.
I have a tendency to be able to survive with that. But this is basically what the unit looks like. Right there, it's a self-contained unit, has its own compressor in it. It fills bottles up to 6,000 PSI, and our bottles are usually 45. It's completely in a cask, so that when you fill the bottles and something fails, and it doesn't blow out the side of the firehouse.
Yeah.
That would be good.
That would not-
And also for beer kegs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it has there's other options on it that we can have that, of course, additional costs that we just don't need, so we
Right.
eliminate some of them to try to bring it down.
Yep.
But it comes pretty much all made, manufactured, just a matter of setting up the installation. Two things we'd have to do is electrical upgrade, and we'd have to punch a hole through the side of the building because it needs its own fresh air intake. We'd rather take it from the outside than some of the air that sits inside the building, so. Those are the two things we would need to do, but I just kinda wanted to start the ball rolling, and,
Mhm.
we've been looking at this, and
It's good to hear.
some of the funding is there, and just
Yep.
something else to take off our plate, and shag everything.
I appreciate that. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Do we have anything for the chief?
No?
Denise?
All set.
All right, well, keep up the good work.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Very good.
Good night. Do you have welfare?
Yes.
All right, I think a motion to go into public session to deal with welfare petitions.
Move we go into non-public session to do with welfare petition.
I'll second it. Roll call, Denise?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mike, yes, for a non-public session to deal with welfare petitions.
I'm working on it. So, yeah, as soon as I'm ready.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, turn your camera off.
Thank you, thank you.
Nobody would get it.
Room is clear, Denise, hold on.
And you're not alone with that.
Thursday night, and I couldn't get it.
It's going again.
Tommy's got the camera going and she's ready to go. All right, so for welfare, Miles, you need a motion? Absolutely.
All right, I move, we grant rental assistance in the amount of $425 for case 2019-009.
9,
Yes.
sorry, it's my atrocious handwriting. I will second that. 9, it could be a backwards S, or a 5 even. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. To me, it looks like a 9. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, welfare's taken care of.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The police are not here this evening, but Denise, did you have an opportunity to talk to the chief?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna hold
I'm
off.
gonna try to do it this week.
Okay, so we will hold off on on the salary request conversation then? Until you have that conversation with him.
Yeah, I'll definitely make an effort for this week.
Okay, and so that means we're gonna also put on hold the fire department salaries, which is the next thing down on town administration. I also wanted to mention that, so we have scheduled on Tuesday, May 14th, to go visit the police station for the,
Okay.
to make the make-up date for the meeting when they were all at the fire station that we postponed. So, that's their next training night, so we're gonna have Caroline, because, Bob isn't in tonight, to, arrange with the chief to see what time we're gonna go. And then get back to all three of us, make sure that's a time that works for us, okay?
Sounds good?
All right. Budget committee secretary position, I understand you have several resumes that have come in
I
for
do,
backup?
for the couple of meetings that I think we have vacant at this time and as a fill-in for that and other boards and committees.
Okay.
So I'm hopeful that'll work out. So for tonight, it's just a placeholder and
Okay.
hope to have a name for next week.
CIP committee, why did we leave that on there? I don't remember.
I don't know that it has to be left on there because
Well, we were
it's going to
Dealt with it last week,
boards.
didn't we?
Getting members from the planning board and the
Right,
budget.
but we'd already talked about it,
Yeah,
and it's in the works, right? So
Yeah, so that can.
That can, we can leave it on if you want to do an update, or you can put it down under your section later in there if you want. Okay, space needs committee draft charge. There
This
was
is just a
a placeholder. for tonight.
placeholder and a notification that
Okay.
you
So
have a
it's-
draft to review.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, it's in our draft folder on the drive, and Caroline sent us a link. Take a look at it, so why don't we take a look at it this week, and we can, it just came out today, so.
Yep.
And we can review it for next Monday, if that works for everybody?
Yeah, I sent my,
You already did?
When we were talking tonight, I sent my questions to Caroline,
Okay,
on it, so.
okay. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it, it came,
Yeah.
well, it came this morning, I think, but I was just got busy working at work today, sorry, so I couldn't look at it. But, Miles, you're okay, you wanna wait too?
Yep,
Okay.
yes, please.
All right, so we'll hold off until next Monday. Eversource is coming, is that next Monday, the 29th?
No, it's the following.
2
it's
weeks,
2
right?
weeks.
Thank goodness. Not ready for April to be over already.
And they're coming at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, all right, so we'll make note of that, 7 PM. All right. Now, is that the same night that
That you have an officer.
we're
getting
swearing in a
sworn
new officer too, right?
Yes, and that's at 6:30.
It's at 6:30, okay. No, I remember that. Septic plans approval process, so I saw in the folder we have a plan that Mr. Clark has already reviewed. We don't do anything with it but sign it. Is this another case of, should we just have Mr. Clark review them, or do we wanna still keep looking at them ourselves? I'm not really, I don't bother either way, it's just, thought we would bring it up, because it was not something that we have to come up very often, so. I mean, I can tell you, the process before used to be that the junior member of the board has a stamp that's kept in his or her desk. And it was their responsibility to go get the stamp, and you stamped the plan when it came in. And we signed it and dated it, and that was our review of the septic process.
That stamp is in my coat that's on
Yeah.
top of my desk.
So Denise inherited it, but now it's really yours, Miles,
Yeah.
so.
I want this, yeah.
But, I mean, I guess by
I think we
tradition,
should
but.
still continue to do that.
Okay, that's fine by me, I just thought I would say, but, so at least so we can discuss the process. So right now, Mr. Clark, who actually knows what to look for on septic plan designs, reviews them, signs off on it on our behalf, and then we can still stamp it, that's fine by me. So we know that we've gotten it, but, just so everyone's aware, someone who actually knows what they're looking for is looking at it. And
Yep.
if you two know what you're supposed to be looking at, I don't wanna, assume, I shouldn't assume that you don't, but, none of us ever did, and we just signed off on it. It was just one of those things.
Yeah,
Anyways.
no, I think it's good that he does his thing first.
Okay, and so we'll continue to stamp it then? Okay.
I think that's a good idea, just let people know we've seen it as well.
It's fine by me. I thought we'd add it on just in case people want to talk about it, but we don't, we will remove it. It's fine by me. All right, planning board alternate appointment. So we had appointed Sonny Vermette. He has now decided that he's changed his mind, and he does not have time to do it, I guess. So our next person in line was Mr. Ken Kelsey. who I'm told has a master's in planning or public administration, and has expressed some interest in assisting as an alternate.
All right.
As their,
I'll move that we appoint Ken Kelsey as the planning board alternate.
I'll second it, so to discuss it. I don't know Mr. Kelsey, I don't think really, but.
He's serving on another committee?
Is he on
He's on conservation,
They were appointed to the Conservation Commission?
How do you spell his name?
CALCI.
CI.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Denise, are you okay
I
with
don't
this?
know him.
All right,
No,
then.
I'm okay with it. If he wants to serve, that works for me.
So he's an alternate, you said he went to the last meeting,
He did.
so just out of interest?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, well, he's going anyways, why don't we, we'll see how he works out, and if he, works out well, we'll keep him on next year, and if not, well, we'll thank him for his service. Because the, alternate positions are, I'm sure he'll be fine, but, they're every year, or the alternates are up, so this could be his, he can try it out, see if he likes it. All right, so all those in favor of appointing Ken Kelsey as the alternate of the planning board, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right. Next is on mine, but it's not on yours, I apologize. The library trustees emailed us later this afternoon, just before the meeting, I guess, earlier this evening. They have met and voted to appoint asked that we appoint Lorraine Hanson to be their alternate.
All right. I'll move that we appoint Lorraine Hanson as a library trustee alternate.
All right, I'll second that. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of appointing Lorraine Hanson as the alternate to the library trustees, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Other appointments, we have until the end of this week to hear back from folks that would have expressed interest in either being the tree warden, fence viewer, or serving on the Parks and Rec commission. I don't know, it just says Parks and Rec in the thing, so until we figure that out, we'll just call it that. So we'll wait until next Monday to see if we have any interest. If not, then we will start making our appointments based on whatever we want to do. We can ask the, if we don't hear back from anyone, we can, I guess, start with the folks that are, well, at least one person we can't, obviously, because he's passed away, but we can ask the current appointees or past appointees if they're interested in doing it again. If not, then I guess we try to figure out who we want to appoint then.
Okay.
All right. The employee recognition dinner, Caroline approached the Legion. I'll let you give your update as to what they said. About using a space there, sorry.
So the date that you all had hoped for is available. For the room upstairs, which is a smaller space, they would charge the discounted rate of $450, which is $100 less than the public rate because we are the town. It is only free for voting and meeting purposes because they have to hire a janitor to clean up afterwards.
Okay.
She offered the alternative that they could provide tables and chairs and you could have something outside on the green by the gazebo for $100.
Which is very nice of them. I think if you tried to have an event down by the river outside at night in late June, none of us would survive. We'd be carried away by all assortment of different types of bugs, but mostly mosquitoes, I would think. But so unless I could be outvoted, but I would say that's probably not a very good idea. But
I don't think so either. You're right. I didn't think about that until just now, yeah.
I just think it's a little too iffy with the weather.
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's tents. I know that some of you have a circus tent that you offered. I think it's wonderful. But again, it's still it's just too buggy, I think, by the river at night in June. I think we'd be carried away. So I'd like to look at other locations. We have the fire station that they use for the pancake breakfast. I didn't talk to Mark about it tonight, obviously. If we were going to do it there, I would want to make it clear to Mark that his members aren't responsible for doing the cooking. I'm sure they probably feel that responsibility because it's their space, but so we need to work out those details. Was also going to talk to, approach Jim Jalbert. I mean, he's got some, I mean, it's not the most, I don't wanna say welcoming, because I think it's a nice facility, but I don't know if a garage is really the place for it, I don't
The
know.
fire station is a.
The fire station
Garage.
probably is a garage too, I know, but I was trying to find a place that's ours, that we can, I don't think it's, I don't think we're gonna spend $450. School gym, there you go, I knew you, so, okay, you're right, there's another, that's probably a better thing than me asking Jimmy if we can use one of his graves at the bus station, so. I'm sure he would probably try to help, but, because he has helped us in the past with things, but the gym in the school is probably much better. Do you mind reaching out to the
For
principal?
that same date, to see if we can get the evening of
That
that
night?
date. Okay.
School should be out by then, right?
Yeah, the last
Yes.
day is,
The 14th,
his last day of school.
yes, the Friday.
That's really early.
Is it?
Well,
They didn't have very many snow days.
Yeah.
Right,
They had half days, or I mean, late starts.
Yeah.
but they
Right, a
didn't
lot
have
of
very
late
many snow
starts.
days. But I would at least ask him, see what he says.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea, Denise, thank you for that. I
Yeah.
probably should have thought about that before the fire station.
Well, the fun station's nice, because I mean, it's in a great big Bay Area, but I mean,
Yeah,
school might be a little, I know they've had dinners in there before, as long as we're careful about the floors, you know, so I think we'd be fine, I think that would work.
that is gonna be a factor, is when the floor is getting.
oh, that's right, they're replacing their floors, aren't they?
that's the.
You know, that's gonna be too early.
I would think and hope it's too early, but
Yeah, I mean, school
It's-
is not even out a week at a time, right? I think
it's
that's
2
too
weeks,
early.
it's 2 weeks after school gets out.
2 weeks after school gets out, okay, well, we can ask him and see what he
Yeah.
says.
Right,
And come up with another plan if that doesn't work.
right,
Okay.
yeah, so you don't mind reaching out, that's perfect. But Caroline won't reach out to Mr. Hartford and see what he has to say. All righty, what do we got here? So policy review, we still have on here reviewing our welfare policy, personnel policy, and purchasing policies with the two items recommended that we look at by department head, the PO limit change and the credit card limit change. Is there any desire to go over that this evening, or?
I really would like to look at it better, right?
Okay.
I'm trying to be a little cautious on making some changing on that, but
Oh, that's
I'd like
fine,
to
yeah.
look at it one more time if I could.
Yep, so this is what I was gonna suggest, so we could either, I think for one of our upcoming Monday evenings, maybe not until, maybe we'll start this in May, give us till the end of the month to do other things. We'll carve out some time on our agenda at a meeting, where we can go into a workshop, we can have the beginning part of the meeting, take care of things we need to take care of with the departments, and then close the meeting and go into a workshop and work on whichever one you want to start with. Because with 3 of them, we need to really review, so would that work for folks?
Yep.
Yeah, that works for me.
That way we don't have to try to come in on another night or Saturday. Now that the weather is starting to get nice again. Be nice not to have to do that, so.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, town administration, standing items, board member activities, updates? What's everyone been up to? Did we have any, we didn't have any meetings last week, right? I didn't have any, okay.
I didn't.
I have mine, I'm.
I know you're waiting for yours,
Yeah.
so.
I didn't have any meetings, and I don't have anything this week
I'm trying to look at my
either.
calendar here. I can do this one on the phone with you, Denise, I don't know. So, I don't think I have, historic committee, tomorrow night. At 7 o'clock. Okay, that might be an issue. It may not be happening, it might have been a meeting that was scheduled and they changed it, I haven't heard, and usually city is pretty good about reminding us a couple of days ahead of time, but I'm putting out the notice, so I may or may not have a historic committee meeting tomorrow night. We were gonna try to organize a cleanup of one of the historic cemeteries in town, but it's also Earth Day on the 27th, and that's when the other town-wide cleanup is happening, so we decided it was probably in our all best interest not to try to compete with the Conservation Commission's townwide cleanup and we do it a different day, so. That's all that I have. I'm coming in tomorrow for what, Aflac? At 8?
Yes, please.
All right. But yeah, did you guys have anything else to add?
No.
All right. All right, so we've added onto the agenda for moving forward the town administrator update, which might make more sense to move to the top of the agenda, but well, this is the first time doing it, so we'll do it this way.
Okay, so there was a recreation meeting this past week. It went well. They are sorting through resumes and getting ready to make recommendations for hires. They understand that the board wants to hire the top 3 positions, and then their director and they will hire their counselors. They're still discussing potential other grant opportunities and field trips. They're still working out a lot of details, but registration is going well, and so far things are going well. The one thing I was asked to bring back to this board was process about paying for field trips. They have 2 field trips where if you sign up online ahead of time, you get I think a 10% discount.
Right.
So they want to participate in that, but it's going to be more than the $200 credit card limit.
Right.
So they, A, would like a credit card, and B, would like a purchasing limit over the existing $200 to accommodate being able to pay for these field trips. So I told them that I would bring that back to you all, and it's timely while you're considering a revision to the purchasing policy. If you were all to consider that, I would suggest that you wait and perhaps consider the rep director rather than a volunteer.
Yeah. You can go ahead first, Ms.
At this time, I would rather increase your limit
Yeah.
and not give them a credit card at this time.
I don't disagree with that because there are, administrative and oversight considerations.
Yeah.
It's something that we should try to work out going forward in that they buy a lot of supplies, and it would be helpful for them not to do, it would just be, a nice consideration to them that not to have to pay for lots of things out of their own personal money and get reimbursed for those things.
All right.
So,
I would prefer, well, one, I have a lot of concerns about issuing a credit card to a part-time employee.
and a temporary
And a
employee,
temporary
I
employee
agree.
at that, right? So that's the first thing. I'm definitely in favor of giving it to a volunteer. That's just not gonna happen. I hope it's not gonna happen. I would, much like Denise, I'd like to see it coordinated through you, at least for the time being, the big purchases. And if we have to up your limit so you can pay for it, I'm fine with that. But I'm not gonna, I don't think it's fair to ask a volunteer to put on their personal credit card. What was it, like $300
Like
last year?
$300.
For passes to, I don't remember, what was it, the water slide place, or wherever it was.
Yeah.
It's not fair to ask them to put out
I
that
think
money.
the other one was the state parks, if I.
Maybe it was, yeah.
I'm 100% sure, but.
Yeah,
I wrote a check to that one. I think Take Flight, because that was something that you could plan for ahead of time, and
Okay.
you buy it and you have the pass for the season. It was
Yeah.
more like the places like Take Flight, the ropes course, places, or Hilltop Fun
Yeah.
Center. It was the places where it depended on your actual enrollment, and if they knew ahead of time you were coming, and you committed to whatever your enrollment was, they would give you a discount on that.
right.
Yeah.
And to me, it makes sense for the town to coordinate that, to make those purchases. We don't
Well,
have,
at this point, just because we're starting off with a whole new staff, and so, and you gotta get through a year at least knowing these people, and if they come back, then that's another, we could talk about that like next year. But if you wanted to, you could have the select board have a credit card, the ex officio, which would be me. But I would rather Caroline do it,
I would too.
just increasing her limit.
What do you think?
So for situations like this, do we go and buy 30 tickets without having those seats filled? Is there a risk that we eat?
No,
Okay.
No,
Okay.
No, I think that most of the time, they know that they're gonna have, if that's the planned trip, I don't think they've ever eaten any tickets.
Okay.
No.
I think that that's all
They
predetermined.
saved, what do they say? They saved, how much did they like save 10 or 20% last year, Denise?
It was quite a bit, it was quite a bit of
Yeah,
savings
so
to the volume that we're buying.
Yeah,
Okay.
it made a lot of sense. And so I
It
remember,
did.
I don't remember who it was, either Ms. Needhawk or Ms. Anderson. One of them put it on their personal credit card. Actually, in fact, I think one of them
Kelly
was,
Anderson did it.
Kelly did, okay, one of them did
Several
it.
times.
And it was, it's not really fair. It's,
I agree. That's a
no.
little beyond the.
Right, that's super volunteer.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have coordinate via Caroline?
Yes, so, we can wait until, like, maybe when they, do a purchase order for whatever these planned trips are, then we can incorporate into the motion of those purchase orders that I would put it on a credit card so that I'm not violating our purchasing policy,
Yep,
if that's workable.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I think that's fine, because it's not the credit card company that has a limit on you, it's us, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I think that works.
Okay, good,
At
thank
this
you.
point, like I say, again, it's, you know, right now, because we have all this staff, that I would be really nervous about giving someone a credit card.
I disagree, you have to be careful of people that, that come and go and need to make sure that we have processes that safeguard,
Right.
you know,
But I
and
also have total faith in our two chairs, so if we wanted to make them the chairs, I wouldn't have a problem with that either. You know, it's more the directors that we don't know who they are right now. But the two co-chairs are long-time, you know, town residents, and we know them well, so I wouldn't. But I think it's probably easier if it's our town administrator who does it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. All right, so the other item I have is a report from the school board meeting last Thursday. I went and I spoke to the school board about having their facilities director, Mr. Fortier, assess this building, its issues and what those issues might cost so that we can plan on their repair, understand what a renovation might cost, or at least understand that, you know, that's not the option that, we need to, you know, just so that we have information that we can make available to the residents and the select board, so that when we get ready to propose another decision with facilities, we are more informed about what the options are. In addition, we spoke about the potential for sharing Mr. Fortier's expertise and time potentially in a future budget year, planning for that and maybe paying the school district for a percentage of his time in an ongoing basis, because he has the expertise to assess and administer a CIP plan of sorts for all of our town facilities, because we don't have any, our department heads are department heads and not facility directors, and yet they're charged with understanding their building and the building's needs. And so it would be reasonable to assume that we don't fully understand what's going on with all of our town facilities,
Okay.
despite everybody's best intentions. So they seemed open to it while at the same time skeptical, because they said that he's very maxed out with his responsibilities at the school at this time. However, they're open to discussing a long-term relationship in a future budget year. As for assessing this building, they did remind me that they started with an engineering study on their building to the tune of approximately $20,000. And Mr. Fortier had that to work with in creating the CIP plan for that building. So while he does have some expertise, it was not clear to the superintendent, principal, and school board chair whether or not he has the expertise to, you know, do that level of
Gotcha. He was working off of,
yeah, he was working off of that, and while he does have extensive experience and knowledge, it's not clear whether he or not he could provide the same level of plan and assessment as they have for the school.
Right.
So They suggested as a first step that the superintendent and principal will meet with Mr. Fortier and discuss with him how he feels about the project of assessing this building, his expertise for that, how qualified he feels, and how much time it might take,
Right.
so that they might decide whether or not they are going to really offer his services for that, and whether or not they would want any kind of compensation
Gotcha.
for that.
Well, thank you for starting the conversation.
So I will be in touch as I hear more.
Gotcha. And we do have the space needs evaluation that was done by, I can't remember. the name,
Banwell.
Or Banwell.
Yes.
But that wasn't an engineering report, I don't believe.
No, that was an architecture firm that spoke more to how can you fit people in this same
The actual
building,
space, yeah.
you know, more efficiently, and does it
Right.
make sense, and moving offices around and things like that. However, it's been a while since I've read it, and I do think it said something about
Yeah.
the structure of this building and that it's sound, but I'm not sure that it's enough information to truly
We
determine
need to
that,
look at it again.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's on our drive, right?
it is on the drive. You
That's what I
have-
thought.
Yeah,
All right, so we should take a look at that again and do another evaluation of that. And clearly, it's not in the budget to have that sort of level of.
I mean, this is a lot
report
smaller
done.
building than the school, I can't imagine.
It's true. But
so it may not be
come to
20, but it might
but
be 12 or
We
15.
still don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's,
In our professional lines, we have a lot of other things we need to do with that money right now that we've already, you know, we talked about during the budget process, so
oh yeah.
I can't imagine we'd have that flexibility in the budget, so. But you may, I mean, as we move through the year, we may find that we do. Given strains on like the insurance lines and things, if things don't.
There's that. It might still be helpful to know what such an assessment, if he finds himself to not have the time or else not feel qualified to provide such an assessment, it might
Right.
still be helpful to know what a comprehensive engineering study might
Would cost.
cost, so that you can choose to budget or not, or you can choose to find the money or not.
Right.
Yep.
Right, we should discuss whether or not we're gonna do an RFP, that sort of thing.
Right,
Clearly, if it's over a certain amount of money, we probably should, so
agreed.
I would think, but. All right. Anything else?
No, I'm all set.
All right,
Thank you.
well, thank you for that, and like I said, we may decide we wanna put that at the beginning of our meetings, but right now, it was the first time out, we thought we'd put it at the end. We have review of correspondence. What do we have in our red folder this evening?
Sorry, forgot I had it. We have a purchase order for, I'll just go ahead and move it. I move purchase order 1677 to, I think this says Interweave?
Interwear.
Interwear Development for $364 for dog license program.
All right, I'll second it. So purchase order 1677 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? This is the yearly
Do we
expense.
always do that?
Yeah, it's the yearly expense for the software we signed on to for the dog licenses.
Okay.
You can always revisit it next budget season, but it was budgeted for. Any other discussion? Saying none, all those in favor of purchase order 1677, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, what else we got?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
I like your folder, There's that. All in this one. All right, so the first piece that's in here, it wasn't the first piece, but I put it on top, is a newsletter from the Seacoast Shipyard Association. This is a group that was formed to deal with the threat of closure through the BRAC, thank you, it was drawing a blank, process from several years ago, and we've kept going because it's always worthwhile to stay on top of these things. So they do a breakdown of what they've spent their money on, basically it's an inventory of what the local impact of having the shipyard remaining over at the in Portsmouth, regardless of what Maine thinks. Keeping it open. So in Rollinsford, the little town of Rollinsford, the annual payroll from the shipyard, these are civilian employees, is $5,690,660.53. And they employ 79 people in the town of Rollinsford, over at the shipyard. So next time someone tells you it's not a big deal, the shipyard closes, we can do other things with it. Tell them you need to find $5.6 million, almost $5.7 million worth of payroll that comes into the little town of Rollinsford. If anyone wants this, they're more than welcome to have it. So, next is things we actually have to take care of. So, when we got the new fire truck, we applied for something called a DERA grant through the Department of Environmental Services. And we need to do a report periodically. I need to sign this for the state, so if there's no objection, the chief fills it out. We've used, let's see, amount of fuel used this quarter, 69 gallons, number of miles used this quarter, 220. Estimated amount of idling time this quarter is 28 hours. So, if there's no objection, I'm going to sign the report to the state.
None here?
So we're in compliance. All right. Next is a, we already talked about this and I should have gone to get the stamp, is a stamp for septic. I'm just gonna stamp it. You wanna go grab it? Denise, Denise is not gonna grab it because Denise is on the phone. Caroline's gonna go grab the stamp. So while she's doing that, the other, I'll do the request for disbursement. The town treasurer would like to get paid, which makes complete sense. One of his quarterly payments, so unless there's any objection, we'll disperse his treasurer's pay.
No objection.
Okay. The stamp is here, and so the only other thing that's in here besides the thing we need to stamp is the notice of decision from the zoning board of adjustment rather, in the Days Auto Salvage case. So the first piece was denied, that was the appeal of whether or not we can make the decision to deny. And then the second was granting the applicant's variance. Now the applicant needs to go to the planning board. Has the applicant made any contact with the planning board?
Not as of yet.
Okay. When was this?
That was probably a month ago, approximately.
Okay, so Mr. Clark is gonna stay on top of this because
Yes.
he's not gonna just sit indefinitely and not do something, right?
Correct.
I hope. Because we still haven't approved his licensure for this year, right?
Correct.
Mr. Clark is also staying on top of whether or not he's compliant with all the list of requirements.
That will come into play, I think, once he gets through planning.
Because right now he's not,
Absolutely,
so.
yes.
Ready. I've got stamp. I'm gonna stamp the plans for the septic. It was, I should have told you what it was for. It's a septic on Rollins Road, map 1, lot 57-5. Highland Soil Services, is all it says. It's the company that's doing it. I don't, but someone has to have their septic replaced. Is it just the one?
If it's just one copy, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Just so we can't say, well, we didn't send it in the box.
That's it.
Just in case. Well, last time we didn't do this and someone came back and just the one copy, so. Anyway, that's it, so,
Thank you.
thank you for going to get it. And I believe we are gonna go into non-public session to deal with a personnel issue at the end of the meeting, and then we'll be going home. But it's, community input time. Yes, Summer?
Yes. In talking about the culverts,
Yep,
and I believe last year, the board agreed that when they did Sligo, if they suggest to people that they put in a culvert, then the people will just pay for the culvert and the town will do the rest.
we're going to go back and look at it, I don't know, Salman, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know there was, discussion when we repaved, it must have been Pinch Hill, but we haven't done Sligo. With the fields, the cutouts
Yeah.
to go back and forth through some of the fields. We allowed, or we worked with the landowner to make sure that those were maintained, so they weren't, the farmers weren't going in and out of the field in other places, destroying the pavement. But,
Those
I
were
mean,
new.
that's done by statute too, because it has to do with agricultural.
Yeah, but it's not that, it's, when George was talking about ditching
Yeah.
Sligo,
Yeah,
he brought that up, that there are places that need to have culverts.
Under the road.
On,
Yep.
Are they
or,
Go from one
or,
side to the
no,
other.
from, on the side of the road.
are they driveway ones, or what?
Yeah.
There's
driveway
one, but I don't
ones.
think they would touch those. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, I'm just saying,
We'll
you
work
know,
with- we'll have to make sure
in
we
the
check
old
with
mill
them.
case, it would be kind of different, wouldn't
Right.
it? Or,
I don't know, to
well,
be
it's
honest.
similar, if, I mean, if you said yes
Yeah.
to that,
Nope, I agree. If you
then
come
you're
in,
gonna have to agree to this.
I think that's what we're trying to figure out,
Hmm.
what we've done in the recent past anyways, or agreed to or not agreed to. Because if we're doing it for one, we should be doing it for everybody the same way. We
Right.
shouldn't be doing it on a case-by-case basis, it should be uniform policy, I would say, but.
However, there is no policy, and the
Correct.
board changes, so the board has the right to do whatever the current
That
board
is true.
feels is
That
appropriate.
is true also, that's a very valid point. If we're trying to be fair and do equal, you know, but each, you know, the previous board can't tie the hands of the next board, so that's very true. So if we wanna follow George's advice, we can, so anyways. But I don't have an answer right now, I don't know, I don't
No.
remember, we gotta go back and look at the minutes for sure.
Right.
And like I said, I removed myself from that entirely, in fact, I think I had the flu that when they came in, so, which was convenient.
When was that? It was last summer.
No,
No.
it was 2 years ago.
2 or 3 now, right?
2 or 3.
It was,
Well, how long's George been working for us?
Since November of 17.
and it was before that, it was.
No,
the-
no, 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 what I'm talking about is when he was here, and he was looking
Oh,
at
right,
that
that?
culvert
Right,
and having all the problems. I think that was last year.
he may have come to talk to us about it last year, you're right.
Yes,
I think we're
He's
talking
the one
about
who
2
brought
different
it up.
things.
Yeah, we're talking about 2 different areas of town, 2 different conversations.
Mhm.
So I think there are several points in time to check minutes and see, you know, check back in with how the board felt with what areas of town and what issues, you know, at those times.
George had mentioned that now it's a different state, and they have different regulations, different laws. But in Berwick, they had people pay for the pipe, and the town installed it because they wanted to make sure it was done properly. I mean, there's something to be said for that too.
And I think that's why he's coming with that
I mean,
recommendation.
that may be, and I have no argument against that, it's just, I don't know if it was necessarily done right the last time, and the resident paid for it, but anyways. George had already told me it wasn't done right, so anyways. So, we're gonna have to think about what we're gonna do,
right.
so.
I mean, alternatively, the resident could lock up their culvert and.
No, the law says that they're required to maintain them and make sure
Oh,
they're clean.
okay.
And we can require that they replace or clean out their culvert at their own
At their own
expense.
expense, yeah.
If it is impairing the roadway in some way.
Even if it was put in incorrectly by the contractor the town signed off on, which was the case in the place where I'm talking about, because everyone on the streets had issues, so, but anyways. Neither here nor there, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do. So, but thank you for that reminder. Any other committee input, sorry, get over the word. If not, I need a motion to go into non-public session to deal with the personnel issue.
I move we go into non-public to deal with the personnel issue.
I will second that. Roll call, Denise?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mike, yes, so we're non-public to deal with the personnel issue, and we'll give folks a moment to pack up, and we're gonna go home as soon as that's over. We're not gonna take up any of the business. Are all the cameras off?
No? Anything?
What?
Mine is. I just can't imagine, Mike, a development behind my house.
You're gonna see people try to put houses because there's no land left, obviously. But it's a retirement home, it's quiet. It's not
Yeah, are you gonna be able to get taxes?